Hello everyone and welcome back to Brilliant Shadows. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing quite well myself. Last time we left off, the Grey Mage had found us and apparently was attacking the guards, which suggests that she's violent and not after a peaceful thing. I don't know why she's after us so violently, but maybe that's just who Grey Mages are. Maybe she needs our power, or maybe she sees us as a threat because we are technically robbing her power for our spells. Which makes it seem strange that she would attack us now when we're in a small little stables full of armed guards, rather than attacking us when we were in the school. But I suppose it's a case of the magic users and that there, whereas less magic users here. But the guards are collapsed, we're here, we're after taking the sword, and we are ready to fight. And let's see where it takes us. Alright guys! Doorway filled with the silhouette of a pale tan cloak. She aimed the blade towards the mage's neck.
Go.
She heard the footsteps fail quickly as they escaped. Slowly, with practiced ease, the grey mage threw back its hood. A face stained black by necrosis, though still as animate as a living man's, met her gaze with white, glazed eyes. Oh no. The man sneered.
Hello, girl.
His eyes flickered to her blade, and the sneer seemed to deepen.
Do you know what it is you hold?
Admittedly, not in any particular sense. Obviously, it's a sword.
A sword, she says. Does she not know what she holds, Harla? No, of course she wouldn't.
A shiver ran down Ash's spine, and for once she did not struggle to suppress it.
Yeah, I'm going to assume Arla is your pair whose organs you stole.
Stole? No. We became as one.
Ash really didn't want to hear this. Ash drove forward, concentrating all her effort into driving the blade home. Oh, this is like a really unique kind of painting. Inside her, she felt a fire burst to life, and all at once she felt as light as the air itself. The distance between them was gone in a heartbeat, and the blade tore the air directly beside the grey mage. She had missed, her balance thrown off by her long dress.
Light and shadow.
She didn't let him finish the sentence, bringing her blade down hard. Ash felt flesh tear as the grey mage leaped back, his milky eyes wide. Her advantage, and by extension herself, would only survive as long as she pressed the attack. If the mage had more than a moment to recover, the gap in their power would become apparent. She pulled back for another swing when she noticed a knot of black arching towards her. Desperately, Ash flung herself trying to evade. The black knot struck her on the side of her throat and she began to choke. Weakness took her and her grip gave out, the blade clattering to the ground. She gasped, but her breath found no purchase.
Impressive. I hadn't imagined the sword would give you access to both pools.
Her words meant nothing as she clawed at her own throat, desperate for air. He loomed over her.
A beautiful specimen. It is unfortunate you are already paired. I could use a heart as strong as yours.
Somehow amidst it all, she looked at his hands. His mark was twisted, so abstract she could not tell its shape. Wait, does that mean he's had multiple pairs, maybe? This was not her pair. A weight lifted from her and she tore at the tiniest gasp.
Strange you should seem so revulsed by a grey mage when you travel with one.
Hector. Why? Hector was a grey mage. She'd been right, but how? Why? Prude. Her hands closed around a hilt. When had she even begun to grasp for it? Her next move was more swift than her adult mind began to follow. Then the blade dashed through his neck, his jaw up towards his skull and out the top as easily as a sword into a soft muck of the training field. The grey mage stood for a moment as though unsure. He convulsed and then collapsed.
Did I just win?
The response was immediate.
You little bitch!
The creature surged forward, grabbing her blade and wrenching it free, a black ichor leaking from the wound she had dealt.
Ah!
Asked as he groped for a weapon, anything. All she found was one of her roses, still fresh, its black petals a stain of dark on the already poorly lit room. She breathed in the smell, searching for strength, and to her surprise, she found it. Something seemed to catch fire at her chest, a burning sensation that boiled in her lungs. With a cough, she let it out. Inky blackness erupted from her mouth, curling like a plant sprouting with impossible speed. The growth engulfed the grey mage, then it flowered. Grey mage's screams were brief before the dark flower-like flames did their work. Dissolving, the creature slumped to its knees. Little more than charred lumps remained of its extremities. She stared at the body. The full realization of what she had done dawned upon her. Buckling over, she ruffled with a recent banquet she had eaten. A moment of relief, and she retched again. Hector! Prude! With effort she found her feet, as she stood out the front door, staring out into the silent white night. Hoofprints were being lost in the fallen snow, leading away from the stables, leading to Celeste.
They escaped, thank the goddess.
Snow crunched behind her. In the darkness, her eyes met a cloaked figure. Silence stood between them. Ash raised the blade with an unsteady arm.
Don't cross me tonight, or I'll end you just like I did the last Grey Mage.
Whoa, okay. This obviously isn't the best time for you. We can talk later then.
Without another word, the figure retreated into the dark. Did that count as a win? Ash decided that would be a yes. Definitely a win. The celebrity mood lasted about as long as it took her to realize there were no horses left. With a groan, she took a deep breath and broke into a slow trot. Her fist was still clutching the black and white blade as though she feared nothing more than losing it. As she ran, though, she struggled against them, and so too did her thoughts. So we just faced our very first Grey Mage, possibly two, and one. Each day was a tiny fragment of the hells below. Oh my god, that is like a fierce image right now. She obviously fighting her for her life. Ash ate snow, lacking easy access to any source of water. Food was a luxury she could not afford given the speed of her travel. Each day she thought she would collapse, and each day she found herself pushing forward, pushing harder. She swore that each day that passed, she grew faster. As she arrived at the city gates, she felt as much as the beast as she looked at. She slammed the hilt against the wooden gate.
Hello?
Ash shot a death glare at the head that emerged from the drop of the wall.
Open the gate, or I'll open it myself.
Ash doubted she could do anything resembling that, but it made for a chilling threat.
Lady Ashmore?
Yes.
Light and shadow? Everyone thought you were dead. Prudence has been inconsolable. Princess Prudence.
I'm alive and I need you to let me in. Now.
The gate began to slowly rise, and Ash felt energy pumped through her veins. She blew past the guards and tore towards the palace. Behind her, voices of alarm cried out, but her feet carried her faster than the guards could follow. Something drove her forward. Guards at the palace raised themselves at her approach, recognizing absence from their face.
Stand back.
The force of the command led the guards to respond, stepping away as Ash erupted through the doors into the throne room. Standing beside the king, in place of a court mage, stood Hector. Ash moved on instinct. She raised her blade, each footstep carried her, flinging towards the grey mage.
Hector?
The last thing she saw as she blackened out was Hector wide-eyed.
She's moving.
Ash felt sick. No, this was more than that. She felt like cloth shred to tatters.
Hold her down.
She felt a distant pressure as pain racked her body. The word refused to focus, remaining a violent blur. Pain seared through her every nerve.
What's happening to her?
It's the effects of a technique called Grey Burn. I recognized the effects as clear as day from the moment I saw her in the courtroom. It shocked me so much I couldn't move.
Are you sure it wasn't shock from her charging with a sword?
I've never heard of any save for a Grey Mage using the technique, though in theory a person in a pair should be able to replicate the technique by drawing on their pair's pool.
The word came to her as though they were being spoken in a distant room.
The strain on the body is enormous. Likely it is why she survived.
And it might be why she dies as well.
Ash reached out, her mind clawing like a beast for magic. Suddenly she felt a spark of utter white, and the pain began to fade. A soft darkness came over and she slipped back into unconsciousness. Reality dawned on her. Hector! Prude! Ash was bolt upright in the blink of an eye.
Hector is a Grey Mage.
Her eyes met Hector holding an open book sitting beside her bed.
How?
Defend with the sword, cast a spell. Let's cast a spell. Ash focused and drew upon her well of power. With practice each began to knit the spell in her hand. Suddenly the pain lanced up her arm and her finger stiffening. The spell faded a moment later.
How did you know?
Hector rose from his seat, stepping forward.
Stay back, you bastard.
The door opened and Prude stepped inside.
Ash, you're awake.
Prude, you need to know something.
I'm a Grey Mage.
I don't think anyone followed us here.
Close the door and lock it. Have Belinda and Elfnod wait outside, preferably talking. I don't want anyone listening to us.
Wow, I didn't think I'd been gone long enough for you to switch back to princess mode.
Prude shot Ash a dark look.
Not right now, Ash.
Ash turned to Belinda and Elfnod what to do, only to find the pair had apparently heard the command. That made things easier.
Start talking.
Prude was glaring at Hector, a maelstrom of emotions behind her eyes.
I have been meaning to tell you, ever since we encountered that Grey Mage.
The one I killed?
Both of them turned to Ash.
You did what?
I killed someone. I still haven't really digested that properly. I feel like I'm in shock every time I think about it, like the whole thing wasn't real. Maybe it wasn't.
Ash, you're babbling.
What? Oh, goddess, this must be what it's like to be Hector.
No comment.
I fought him. I used Hector's sword.
Yes, you had it with you when he charged the courtroom.
Then I stabbed him. But he didn't die. Then I did a type of magic. I have no idea what it was. Was it shadow? Was it light? Was it gray? Perhaps it was witch magic.
What did you do, Ash?
I breathed in power from my rose. And then I breathed black, flowery fire.
The two stared wide-eyed. It was Prude who recovered first.
I am sorry, Ash, but we came in here to discuss something else.
She turned back to Hector.
You're a Grey Mage. What does that mean? Did you kill someone?
No, never. Nothing like that. My parents were members of the cult. Neither was a Grey Mage themselves. You see, there's something wrong with Grey Mages. All of them. No matter what they do, they cannot get the organs to work quite right.
Ash thought back to the desiccated body of the Grey Mage she had fought.
They had theorized that a child, raised as a Grey Mage, allowed to literally grow into the power, would lack this flaw. They had planned that their child, whichever magic it was born with, the opposite would give their life to turn them into a Grey Mage.
Oh, so the parents gave him?
Oh god, your parents did that to you? Wait, weren't you an orphan?
Hector's frown deepened.
I was born without any magic.
A hand lay across his chest.
3 hearts beat within my breast.
Oh, goddess.
Ash could only nod.
Why couldn't you have told me all of this?
I have been hiding this for my entire life. Hiding it from one more person seemed only natural.
You could have told me. You could have said something. We've been paired for months, Hector.
His voice trailed off as his eyes looked away, unable to meet Prude's. Ash felt a little awkward being here for this.
The Grey Mage in your room. It was there because it recognized you? Is that why they're after us? Is it all because of you?
Prude,
Stop.
Tears began to trickle down Prude's cheeks.
I don't even know you.
Without another word, Prude stormed at the door, blowing past the startled Belinda and Elfnod. Seeing Prude in so much pain made Ash's own heart feel sunken within her chest. Ash turned to Hector, who was distraught, looking near to tears himself. Pressing for information. He got no sympathy from us.
Well, it's good to know you don't steal organs.
thanks. I think.
So, tell me, what do you think the whole Blackfire thing was?
I know from Elfnod that witches perform their spells by absorbing the magic of specific plants, or concoctions composed of a variety of plants. I suppose your black roses have that effect.
So do you think I'm a witch? Or paired to one?
I don't know what to think right now. I never meant to hurt her. Light and shadows. I would do anything to have kept her from walking away.
Give her time.
Time passed and silence fell. It was more than a little awkward for Ash as she stood in the dark of the throne room with Hector, lingering quietly, brooding. Her mind wandered, and for a moment she had the chance to recall an offhand remark from during the fight. Ash cocked her head to the side.
Wait, what was that about another Grey Mage?
Suddenly, Hector led Ash through the castle to one of the guest bedrooms where the alleged dead Grey Mage had been discovered.
I have never seen anything like this.
It wasn't how she had dealt with one she'd faced, but it was clearly dead. The state of decay and the body was in helped her to understand that it was a Grey Mage. They were already in the castle, even with how fast she had travelled here.
Whatever did this is something entirely new. Or perhaps there's a type of witch magic that allows for the warping of metal.
What makes you say that? Couldn't this have been done by a Grey Mage or Paladin amplifying their strength?
With two Grey Mages be fighting one another, she didn't know.
No. Look at this.
Hector beckoned Ash to examine the butt of the metal spine. Of the metal spine?
It's hollow.
Yes, it appears to have been a medallion. The chain is still intact around her neck.
Are you saying someone weaponized her jewelry?
They warped it into an incredibly thin wire, piercing through the mage's spine and pinning them to the back wall. This was magic, though I will be thrice damned if I could begin to identify what type.
Ash noted it.
I'm going to go find some dead roses.
Oh god, guys, that's a lot of information to do, but alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know, I'm kind of curious about the female mage that we had seen earlier, but I'm also wondering why Hector... I don't know, I honestly do not know. Thank you guys so much for watching, it's been a complete pleasure. Bye bye!